Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Nikki. I am homeschooling a only child in the 2nd grade. So I want to talk about just some things that have gotten us through some tough times as far as my child's anger and just like temper tantrums when she was dealing with her anxiety. So if that is something that is happening in your life and you're looking for some tips, then please keep on watching. So I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about kind of the dark area of our life where either A, not a lot of people knew about, or B, a lot of the things that were happening were just not so easy to share, but I want to be able to try to help somebody else if I can. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about our story and where we're at now. So my daughter suffers from generalized anxiety. We have gone to therapy. We have gone to all different things at this point. She is doing much better now. But there was a period of time where things just progressively started to get worse and worse and worse. The temper was through the roof. The anger was through the roof. The emotions were just all over the place, and we can relate it back to where this started from. And this started from her having a really close relationship with her great-grandmother and suffering the loss of her great-grandmother when she was very, very young. She witnessed the death, and I never thought how much it would have affected her over time. And honestly, it makes sense. So if your child has suffered through some type of trauma or something that is really an extensive part of their life, and even if you think they're young and they won't remember, chances are their brain does. She cannot sit here and tell you that this is what was bothering her, or she cannot sit there and really tell me a whole lot about that person that impacted her life so much. But her brain remembers a point, and it was coming out in anger, because as you get older, your brain starts to release things from your boxes that you've kind of built up in your head. And she didn't know how to quite understand them or how to process them. And so we've done several different things, and I'd love to share with you what has helped and what has worked, but I just want you to know not to give up. Your child's anger and temper, as much as it is really hard to handle as a parent, this is them shouting from the rooftops that they need you. They need your help. They need your calm. They need you to go above and beyond and make sure that they're getting the care that they need, because they do not know how to ask for it, especially at 6 and 7 years old. So I have a couple books here that has helped us over time. So one of them, we did not get a chance to do a whole lot in because it had started to get better. Now, don't get me wrong, my kid was not about to sit here and do these books with me all the time. It just was not something. It almost made her just overly aware, and she felt really bad, and I had to kind of throw them in when she was more in a good mood. Do not come at your child and toss a book in their face and say, we're doing this because you're throwing a fit right now. Like, it's not going to work. You need to come at them when they're calm, when they're not throwing a fit, when they're not thinking about anything, and just kind of sit down with them and, you know, acknowledge that, hey, things have been rough and I really, really want to help you. And this is something I feel like can help. And sit them down and maybe they'll have a conversation with you or express their feelings and just acknowledge that what they're feeling is okay. And even though it can suck for the parent, it sucks 30 million times more for them, trust me. My daughter has beaten herself up tremendously by her own actions because she truly just felt out of control and that she couldn't control how she was feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about the first book. So I'll insert a picture here because this is going to be backwards for you. So I'll insert a clip here first and then I'll show it to you. So this is the I Am, I Can book. This is 365 affirmations for kids. So basically there is an affirmation for every single day of the year. So this is February. I mean, we're in May, but I just opened to whatever. And I would make her write every day whatever that affirmation is for the day and talk about it. And kind of just drill in her head that the affirmation and like why it's important for her to think like that. So let me go to May and I'll just toss into you an example. So today is the 18th. So May 18th is here. And it says, I can try something I've never done before. Is there an activity that you've always wanted to try? Now is the time to give it a chance. You would not think that this is life-changing, but it's life-changing. I'm not even sure what grade this book is recommended for, but I am here to tell you. My daughter started this book her kindergarten year, and we've stuck it out, and we're going to continue to do this every day because affirmations and positive is everything a child needs. It also has a feeling index in the back. I have talked about this book as well, and I have a little bit more of an in-depth review that I can link up here somewhere. But this is a feeling index. So it says, pause to notice what you feel in this moment. If you are not happy with your current mood, search this index for a feeling that matches yours and head to the pages with affirmations that can help shift your mood. So let's say they're feeling confused. It tells me pages 34 through 37 and 68 through 69 talk about this feeling. So if we go to page 34, June is self-awareness month. So it talks out, and these affirmations are self-awareness, to feel balanced and in control. I know who I am. I have many good qualities. I have empathy. I am humble. I can say no. I know what I like. I can rest and play. I know I'm not perfect. I consider things carefully. I can take my time. I trust myself. I can see both sides. I have boundaries. All amazing ones. And then there was ones further on. I believe it said 60, page 68. Which looks like it is the month of December. So this is a choice maker activity. I know it's backwards, so I apologize. But all the choices, they can make this paper, whatever you call it. Why can I not think of? It's like an origami thing where you flip it and then you like flip the thing and find out what it is. Anyway, the choices are: I can make people feel special. I take care of the people I love. I praise others. I can give without expecting anything in return. I can tell people what I like about them. I can surprise people with my thoughtfulness. So on and so on. This is a gem, a literal gem. And if you think you don't need this in your life, you do. And I love the diversity that is on this cover. We have a kid in a wheelchair. We have just different skin tones, and it's just an amazing book. And this is from DK. Pretty much all of DK's books are amazing, but this one's a good one. Next thing up, I will insert this here. This is What to Do When Your Temper Flares. It looks like this. I purchased these on Amazon. I can link them all below. This book helped tremendously, and we didn't even get through the whole thing. We got through pretty far, like 70 pages in. So this is good. Some things are over her head, but otherwise I loved it. So it tells you, chapter 1 is in the driver's seat. It also has a whole introduction to parents and caregivers that you can read, which is super, super important. So I'm going to just go through this first one because it's super quick, and just to give you an idea of how this book is laid out. So it says, in the driver's seat, have you ever driven a car? If your answer is yes, let's hope you're talking about a bumper car or a battery run car or one of those remote control vehicles that race around the floor of your house. When you're older, you'll learn to drive a real one. Draw yourself driving your dream car, one that you hope to own someday. Driving is fun. You get to decide where to go. You're in charge of getting there. It's hard work. You have to pay attention. You have to steer. You have to turn the right amount, not too much, not too little. You have to speed up, but not too fast. You have to avoid all the other cars around you. You have to follow the rules. It's easy to lose control and crash. So I don't know if you can sort of see where this is going. It says it may be fun to crash a bumper car, but a real car is not fun to crash. It's scary and dangerous and can lead to bad things. That's why people need to take lessons before they drive a car. And one of the main things you learn when taking driving lessons is to stay in control of the car. So then it relates, our bodies are kind of like cars. We need fuel to run well. We need to be kept clean. We need to get checkups every once in a while, and we need to follow rules that keep everyone safe. Draw or write about a kind of fuel that you enjoy, something you use to keep yourself clean, a tool that gets used when you have a checkup, a safety rule you have to follow. So it then goes in to talking about how you can decide in how to control yourself, how loud to sing, how high to jump, what book to take out the library. But sometimes it isn't fun. Sometimes there's rules you don't want to follow. Sometimes you want something but you can't have it. Sometimes people do things you don't want them to do and say things that you don't want them to say. Yet you are still the driver, not in charge of other people, but in charge of steering and controlling yourself. So, and then it talks about from there, if you're a kid who's ready to learn to be the driver in your own life, to control yourself when it's hard, this book is for you. It will teach you how to avoid crashes and get where you want to go. This was great. It wrote it in such a relatable way for kids to truly understand. It has ways for them to write in here things that make them mad. And then it has what would make you mad, wouldn't it? What might you be thinking? Or that would make you mad. Oh, so this one was good. So it says draw someone, not yourself, taking the last cookie from this plate. That would make you mad, wouldn't it? And then it said to write their ideas in the bubble. So we didn't write them, we discussed them out loud, but some of theirs was, I wanted that, no fair, those are my favorite. So then it says to fill in the face to show how you would feel, and that was her face. And then we have, but what if these thoughts were in your head instead? I'm not hungry anyway. Dad said he'd buy more cookies the next time we went shopping. I think we have popsicles in the freezer. So if these were your thoughts, how might you be feeling? Fill in the face to show the feeling. So as you can see, it changes their mindset. It changes this negative into a different way to react. So it isn't what happened that made you mad. Both ways, someone had taken the last cookie, but instead it was your thoughts about what happened that made you mad or that helped you feel okay. So it has other examples as well of things that can make them mad and how to reframe their thought process. I think the reframing their thought process is 100% essential for life. We are going to have times and moments where we are going to get upset. I just think it's great. So this one is, does anger win you friends? Fire. This talks about anger, relating it to fire. It's hot, it can rage, it can burn. Anyone it gets close to. There's just, it's so good. It's so good. Honestly, any kid who doesn't even have anger bad could relate to this book and still get something out of it, I feel like. So this part is cool. It gives them a way to tie as kind of a distraction or just like a calming mechanism. It gives them strategies to take a break. When you have 10 knots, show your mom and dad so they can celebrate. Could be a board game, ice cream, blah, blah, blah. And then it talks about anger dousing method. Honestly, you can't go wrong. You just can't. It has this squeezing method where it wants you to grab a pillow and suck in a lungful of breath, or cross your arms to make an X across your chest and breathe. There's a work it out, and tons of examples about a problem and a solution. Highly recommend this for anyone, but specifically ones who have tempers. Hey, editing me popping in. I realized that I forgot to talk about a couple things. So one thing that I tried, it did not work for us, but I think we just didn't give it a fair chance. But that may work for your child if you're going through something similar. It's a weighted blanket. You can find them on Amazon, and just make sure you're getting the appropriate weight for age of kid. The other thing is setting and having boundaries. You are human as well, and when it gets rough, sometimes it gets rough, and you have to schedule time for yourself. There's no other way around it. You have to survive. Self-care does not just mean sitting and getting your nails done or something. It could be reading a book. It could be doing nothing in silence for an hour, taking a yoga class, going to the gym, going to a movie alone. But you need that time desperately. The other thing is that you need boundaries with your kids. One of the things we learn in therapy is you need to determine the difference between anxiety and a temper tantrum. And when it's a temper tantrum, you completely walk away. Walk away and let them handle it. If it's anxiety, you can usually tell it in their demeanor. So when it's anxiety, then that is when you try to give them coping, whether that's a coping corner where you have a box of things that can make them happy, whether that's gripping them in a hug even if they don't want it. They likely do. It's just they're pushing the emotion. I have found 9 times out of 10 that anytime I hug my kid, as much as she was so angry, that she did end up calming down eventually. So just some things I wanted to add in there. If you don't know anything about boundaries, there are books upon books upon books. One book we also read was The Explosive Child. Highly recommend. I will link it down below. But that gives you plans, like plan A, plan B, plan C, of different approaches and how to approach your child during these types of things. And like, if this doesn't work, what's the next plan? Boundaries. Do not think that because they are little that you let them walk all over you, especially if you can tell the difference between anxiety and a tantrum. So those are the 2 main ones. This one I did not get to dabble in, but just by going through it, I can tell you it's a hit. So this is anger management skills. It's a workbook for kids. I'll insert the normal picture so you can see it. I'll have everything linked down below as well. So this is stop your anger and start feeling better. There's an introduction to parents, and there is an introduction to kids. Say hello and goodbye to your anger. It has a decoding their anger. Roar, my anger's like. And then it has a bunch of how I show anger. Draw your anger, make a volcano, create a calm, breathe in good vibes. This is great. And it just gives you things to do with your kid. Mad muscles, fetch the stretch. What is your calm place? Gratitude, not attitude. I know a lot of this, learning self-control, thinking brain, feeling brain, predict the consequences, be patient, which is really cool. So 3 steps for staying patient. Take slow breaths, play a simple game like I Spy, try to think about something else. So I know this, I like that, talk back to your triggers. This book is great. I know that this may seem silly or like your kid might not take an interest to it, but I am here to tell you, you'd be surprised when your kid is feeling like they need help, that they may take a liking to these things. Now, they may fight it at first, which is fine. Take your time and ease it into maybe 1 page, or just trying to get yourself and your kid on the same page is golden. I was learning that when she was getting upset, I was more reactive than actually listening and trying to ask her what she needed. I think it's pretty common for people to be like, I have a screaming person, and it's, hard to manage yourself or your own patience, but they need it. They need us to manage our own patience and almost manage theirs for them until they can get the tools necessary to do it for themselves. I also highly recommend therapy. I know it is not as taboo of a subject, you know, these days, but I don't know where we would be without it. There is lots of different therapies. There's play therapy, mostly for kids younger. There's always play therapy. She's done a combination of talk therapy mixed with play, and it has just made a world of a difference. Also, don't be afraid of medication. I never, ever, ever thought I would medicate my child. But there comes a point in time in your life where some of these things are just necessary. When your child's life is affected, like the anxiety is affecting their day-to-day life, that's when you have to spring into action. And we had already been acting for several months at that point, and you just sometimes got to make the move and hope that it all comes out fine. And we are lucky. The first thing we tried has worked, and it's like I have my child back. So I am here to just push some hope in front of you. Don't give up. Advocate for your kid. Get them in, get on the wait list, have your pediatrician call and try to make a move. There are so many things that I forced myself to do to make sure she got better. So that is all I wanted to talk about today, but it's a big topic and I think it's not talked about enough. I think kids or parents tend to shy away from thinking that their kid has real problems. But it's okay, because real problems can have real solutions and they can be fixed, and you can have your sweet loving child back, because I do. And it was a process, but we're here, and anything I can do to help you. If you have any questions, my email is listed below, and please leave me a comment. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help or guide you in any way possible, or if you just need someone to talk to. I know how it is, and I know it is not easy as a parent. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and gives you a little glimpse into a really rough part of our life. So yeah, you know the jazz, like, subscribe, and all that. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.